Hello everyone. In this lecture, we'll set up the avatar's materials to achieve a more realistic appearance. We'll focus specifically on adjusting the hair and skin textures to achieve a photorealistic look. Before we dive into material adjustments, let's set up some basic lighting to make our work easier. First, make sure your viewport is set to rendered view. Blender starts with one default light in the scene. We'll adjust this light to better illuminate our avatar. In the outliner panel, that's the hierarchy list on the upper right, select Light. You'll also see it highlighted in the 3D viewport. In the Properties panel on the right side, look for the green light bulb icon. This is the Object Data Properties for lights. Click it. The light type has 4 options: point, sun, spot, and area. The default is set to point, so change it to sun. Since this is quite strong lighting, look for the strength value within the light settings. Adjust this value while viewing the 3D viewport until you achieve a suitable brightness level. Within the light settings, you'll find an angle option. Adjust this to create an angle where light hits from slightly above and to the side. This makes it easier to check textures. Since this is just a simple work light for now, no need for fine-tuning. We'll cover full lighting setups and HDRI usage in detail in the Blender Advanced Techniques section. Now, let's start with the avatar's hair. Left-click on the hair in the 3D viewport to select it. You'll see it outlined in orange. Click Material Properties in the Properties panel on the right. In the material list, you should see 2 materials. This is because the hair was exported from Marvelous Designer as multiple separate pieces, each with its own material slot. Each material already contains the texture maps we exported from Marvelous Designer. We'll examine these more closely when we switch to the shading workspace in just a moment. You might notice unnatural shadows on the hair. This occurs because the normals, the information about the surface orientation, is incorrect. Here's how to fix it. With the hair selected in the 3D viewport, press Tab to enter edit mode. Then press A to select all vertices. The entire hair should turn orange. Now press Alt+N to bring up the Normals menu and select Reset Vectors. This recalculates all the surface directions correctly. This should remove the shadows and result in a clean appearance. Looking at the 3D viewport, doesn't the hair shine too strongly? This is due to Blender's material settings, so let's adjust it to a more natural, appropriate shine. To adjust the hair's shine, modify the parameter called roughness. Roughness is a value representing how smooth or rough a surface is. A value close to 0 makes it mirror smooth and shiny, while a value close to 1 makes it rough and matte. Click the Shading tab at the top of the screen. The interface will reorganize, showing the Shader Editor panel at the bottom. This is where we'll work with material nodes. Make sure you're still in rendered view by pressing Z if needed. Make sure the hair is still selected in the 3D viewport. You can tell because the corresponding material nodes will automatically display in the shader editor below. Within the shader editor, you'll find a node called Principled BSDF. This node is central to determining the material's texture. Inside the Principled BSDF node, there are numerous parameters. Locate the parameter labeled Roughness among them. Adjust the roughness value while viewing the 3D viewport. Remember, the hair has 2 materials, and we've only adjusted the first one. To switch materials, look at the top of the shader editor. You'll see a material drop-down list. Select the second material and set its roughness to the same value as the first. This ensures consistency across all the hair. Next, we'll adjust the hair color. Currently, the hair isn't correctly displaying the color set in Marvelous Designer. Let's fix this and adjust it to your preferred color. First, make sure you're back on material slot 1. Now we'll add a special node to control color. In the shader editor, press Shift+A to open the Add menu. In the search box that appears, type Mix and select Mix Color from the results. The Mix Color node has multiple input sockets. A is the first color. B is the second color. Factor determines how much of each color to blend. Click the small color box next to A on the Mix Color node to open the color picker and select your preferred hair color. Connect a line from the output socket of the texture node connected to the base color input of the principled BSDF node to the B input socket of the Mix Color node. To connect lines, click a node's socket, drag it to the socket of the node you want to connect to, and release to connect the line. Finally, connect the output of the Mix Color node to the base color input of the principled BSDF. As soon as you make this connection, you should see the hair color change in the 3D viewport above. Adjusting the factor value on the Mix Color node changes the blend ratio between the original texture and the color you specified. Adjust it until you achieve your desired shade. Now let's move on to the avatar's skin. Click on the avatar body in the 3D viewport to select it. Looking at the material properties, you'll notice the avatar has 4 different materials. This is because materials are separated by body part, such as face, body, hands, and feet. Just like with the hair, we'll also adjust the skin's roughness. Adjust the roughness on the principled BSDF node. Select the other 3 materials from the material list one by one and set their roughness to the same value. This will give the entire avatar a consistent texture. For a more advanced technique, adding subsurface scattering to the skin makes it even more realistic. Subsurface scattering is the phenomenon where light enters slightly beneath the surface and scatters internally. Human skin is translucent, so this phenomenon occurs. For example, when light hits an ear, it appears slightly translucent and reddish. That's subsurface scattering. In the principled BSDF node, find the subsurface section. First, change the method drop-down from random walk to random walk skin. This method is specifically optimized for skin. Then, gradually increase the weight value from 0. Start with something like 0.1 to 0.2 and watch the skin in the viewport. You'll notice it becomes softer and more lifelike, with a subtle translucency that makes all the difference.